Good evening, everybody. Now, I am just getting ready to invite our guest for this evening, and let's just hope that we can find them. If Martin is ready to join us, I can see we've got a few people watching already. Good evening.
All right, blimey, look at my hair.
So
All right.
I've just been running around in the rain, literally came in, so just go with the rustic look.
Yeah,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm kind of. I'm in kind of limbo with Boris, really.
You're in limbo, are you? In the hands of Boris.
Yeah, totally.
It's a funny one,
Yeah,
isn't it? I know you've been twitching just a little bit, just getting a
yeah,
bit
definitely.
fidgety.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
things like this are really useful because I think, we're adapting, aren't we, and how we've been working, and we're learning all sorts about each other. So I think this is a great opportunity. And I have to say, this is the kind of conversation that we've never had before. So I'm kind of excited to hear what you're going to share with us. So, so this is Salt Live. This is Martin from Deluxe. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit more, please?
Yeah, for sure. So, you already know, I'm Martin from Deluxe. I also run another thing called We Are Soma, a jazz-based event. I'm just passionate about events. I'm passionate about music. I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about, and I'm determined to get people back dancing together again. That's my thing this year. I've been doing it for 20, 30 years, on and off, and now with Instagram and Facebook and social media, it's easier than ever to connect with people. So I feel like I found my stage.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us know of you through various music channels, and it's amazing, actually. I've found there's a lot of people that I know locally, and I mention your name, and they go, oh, I know Martin from 20 years ago or 10 years ago. It's amazing how many people you've worked with. And, local people and national people within the industry. It's quite impressive, really. So, just let's try and understand the kind of behind the scenes. What brought you to where you are now? What really inspired you to work in music and sparked
Okay.
that idea of working in events and being a DJ?
Well, I mean, I can take this back to I was about 10 or 11 years old. And I remember there was a school disco. And maybe I was such a control freak or whatever it was back then, but I was really into sort of old school kind of electro, hip hop, what was around then. And I really wanted to do the music because in my mind at 11 years old or whatever it was, I thought I was best qualified because I knew the most at the time. So I remember pestering the headmaster at school, and he let me kind of, right, okay, you could do it. And it went from me just playing a couple of songs on the record player at school to me doing the school disco. And I was so stressed the night before because I didn't have really any music or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they've done it. And that was it. I got the bug, and my mum was mad about music growing up. So always in our house, it was everything from Dire Straits to, Paul Young, all this sort of Motown, soul, and she was really into hip hop and everything, anything that was, sort of trendy. She was quite a trendy mum. So, we were just mad for music. And then I always kept with it, and I had guitar lessons and drum lessons, and I was all right, but I was never the boy, I was never good enough, I was just twanging away, and I couldn't, I wasn't good enough, and it's very hard, all guitarists and drummers out there, you're better than me, I tell you. So many years frustratingly playing the drums and everything, and I got to about 13, 14, and the rave scene, the acid house scene coming into play, And my mate was an older guy. We was into skateboarding, and he got some decks, and he was like making mixtapes, and it was like we'd never seen nothing like it before. And I used to go around his house and MC because that's what I could do, That's kind of do some raps, you know, and it kind of got not big, but it kind of, you know, amongst our friends, and all, it got bigger and bigger, and then we used to go to like the illegal raves and all that lot. And my mum, I'd say I was staying out, and my mum would say, "Oh yeah, you're staying over there," like, you know. And really, I was out at, you know, some warehouse early hours of the morning, you know. And so I went for all that, and then when I was finally kind of, I used to go out and play on his decks all the time, and he was getting less interested, but I was getting more interested. You know, I'd love it, all the samples, all the music and everything. So we started a night then at our local discotheque. We'd done a birthday for someone, a friend of ours, and his dad owned the nightclub, the Berkeley. What a place. We'd never been in there before, but we got to do like the middle function room floor, and it was our big night. You know, we were going to DJ out, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, we done it, and all our friends were there and all that lot. And then the owner, he come up to us at the end, and he could obviously, he was popular with a kid, you know. I was 15, I think, something like that. My mate was a little bit older, maybe 17, 18. And he offered us a night, Thursday nights, in the main club.
Wow.
We were, whoa, you know? So he took us into the Berkeley. And you imagine, you know, being 15 or 14 or whatever it was, going in there, and it was just rammed at the time.
Yeah.
Really rammed with people. And it all kind of started from there. And we done the Berkeley, and then the club to go to at the time was a place called the Shire Horse, infamous kind of rave den down in St Ives. And through mutual friends, we kind of knew someone down there, and then eventually they got us on, or got myself on. By then, Mark, the guy who I was doing it with, Mark Ango, DJ Jester, he was called. He'd kind of got a bit bored of it, but I was hooked, you know. Started playing at this old rave club, hardcore music, you know, sort of break beats, sort of jungle back in the day. And then that was going really well. But what I started noticing was the Friday nights. Saturdays was like the hardcore rave crew. Hang on, all the girls were on the Friday night one. I'm missing a trick here, you know. So we went to a big rave up in Wiltshire, Warminster, something like that, Universe. And we went to there, and we was all kind of into that, you know, that rave music. But we'd found the dance tent, you know, the Friday night dance tent. It was John Kelly, Sasha, all those type of DJs. John Police Women, I think, was there. Dave Durrell, that kind of, all those type of old school DJs. And we spent most of the night, we didn't plan to, but we spent most of the night in this kind of dance house tent, you know. We'd kind of, as a collective, all of my mates and what have you, we discovered house music, you know, and we come back from there, converted, preached, you know, like, and it was amazing. We then pestered to get on the Friday nights, and then was like, you know, you're the hardcore DJs, you know, we want to get on the Friday nights, right? And then it went from there. Eventually, in about 94, something like that, I met my missus, and I got all serious, you know, and like it was kind of dying out a bit, the rave scene and all that lot. So we kind of settled down, me and my missus, and then bought a house and done the kids thing and all that, and that was great. That was really good. And then, am I going on too much?
No, it's fascinating.
Okay. So that middle bit's the boring bit. Probably no one's really interested in. But
so you felt you had to grow up a little bit, but then you started.
Yeah, I was still quite young, man. I was still young. I was 19, 2004, something like that. So I kind of, you know, I was always ahead of my time with the older kids anyway, you know. So I was kind of older than my age, if you like, you know. I told matey I wasn't going to DJ down there anymore, and I said like, yeah, you know, I'm 19 now. He said, "Chris, you've been down there DJing 4 years. How old are you?" Like, so yeah, that was really funny. So anyway, we sat down, had kids, house, and then a friend of mine said to me, "Let's do a rave night, like an old school kind of tribute night type thing. And I was like, no, I'm not into it, not into it. And then another friend of mine, Lee Ellis, he said, oh, I've got some decks at home. Why don't you come around, bring some records around? I'm fast forwarding now 10, 15 years, you know, and up to about maybe 10 years ago. And he said, have a practice, you'll like it still, like, you know, because I sold my decks and everything. And I went round there, started playing on his decks, and suddenly I was hooked again, wasn't I? And we done this kind of night, and it was really popular. And then that was it. I was hooked. So from then on in, Facebook and things had started coming around, you know. And suddenly, when I was 13, you know, it was all word of mouth, and like, you know, just to play at any club, you kind of had to know someone who knew someone to get in there. And then it was really clicky, a small scene, wasn't it? You'd never think about playing, you know, more a few miles away.
No.
Now with social media, the world's your oyster, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I got hold of Roy Spenceley, Love Riot, and hassled him, and he put me on, and it was like my second gig back, played at Love Riot. And then from then on in, I think that can be a little springboard to kind of play other events, you know. And we were just more determined than anyone to kind of make a name for ourselves, you know, and be out DJing.
And for the love and passion, and I think that's really clear. And when you DJs, you know, you just love what you do, and that's why you do it. You know,
yeah,
you wouldn't do it for any other reason. So
I love music, you know, and I'm you know, I'm not the best DJ in the world, or probably even the best DJ in Deluxe, but but I'm passionate. You know, I live it 24/7. You know, whenever I can, you know, be into new music or whatever, I like sharing it with people, friends, or something. Always, you know, dropping a track around or something, or you know.
And is it continuing in the family?
No, I wish it was.
It's not. Not even the love for music.
Ridiculous, isn't it? I got two boys, and they love music. They're not into real music; they're into drill. Oh my God, heard that, right? So, you know, I listen to it a bit. I just you got to get into it, haven't you?
Yeah.
But I keep saying to him, "Come on, man! You've got everything here, ready to go." You know, one's 19, one's 14. I'm like, you boys do the hottest thing going. Do you know what I mean? I'll promote you. But they're like, no, we're not getting into that. It's brilliant, isn't it?
So there must be a guilty pleasure song, something that reminds you of being a kid at home, like one of those songs you don't admit to love, but you just can't help. It's just part of your childhood. Is there a song that you can think of that, you know, you mentioned Dire Straits, and was there anything in particular there?
Yeah, all of it. I'm not embarrassed about any music. I love it all. I love so many times. I'll say I'm terrible for drinking at home or something, and my missus will go. She'll say, what time did you come back last night? I said, I don't know. She said, I left you. You were dancing in the front room, and it'll be some terrible song.
That's brilliant.
I honestly, any genre, anything. I had Kate Bush on the other night. I have Dire Straits on. I have, like you say, from drill to old school hip hop to I love house music, drum and bass, reggae, anything. And I love it. You're probably saying you can find you just get a little with Spotify or something like that now. You get a little theme, don't you? And then you're away, and then that's it. The whole night is like, my missus will say it's terrible, you know. But I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm always like dancing around the house or something.
The images we've got of you, Martin, now are just.
I'm not probably doing myself any favours here.
It's lovely to hear that, you know, it's not just the front, it's not a performance, it's that genuine love, which is brilliant. So, we love our music as well. And actually, the funniest story is I remember my mum was always really passionate about her music. She used to have a big Iowa hi-fi, and she always used to put it on the floor and lie on the floor with the speakers either side of her head, full blast on a school night. And I used to come down and go, Mum, I've got school tomorrow, turn it down. And I used to be like, oh, you're such a terrible mother. But at the same time, it's just like, it's just amazing, that passion for music and just immersing yourself in it, which is just so lovely.
Yeah. You can have just like the worst day, flick a song on, it changes everything.
Boom. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's got a huge power. Right. I'm just conscious of my questions because there's so much to talk about here. So, what's the most immense, inspiring gig that you have ever attended, been to, or performed at? So it could be something that you've gone to see as an audience, you know, as a member of the audience, or something where you've been on stage and something where you just thought,
oh, I've been to so many gigs and so many of those terrible ones, you know, so the ones that you can't admit to, but they're all brilliant, aren't they? I love going to see Chic, George Michael, Coldplay, all these terrible. I see Coldplay twice, once in Truro. Did you go to
I was
that?
going to say, did you ever see them at the Hall of Cornwall? They were brilliant.
Gigs I've ever been to.
Which is brilliant.
Brilliant.
You wouldn't expect it, would you? Coldplay in Truro. Mad.
I mean, everyone hates Coldplay, don't they? But they were good. Where else? I mean, everything from like DJs like Sven Vath and Carl Cox and all these like, you know, Louis Vega, all these people you see, they're your heroes, you know. So you're hanging on every beat, every, you know, they just move in a funny way. You know, when you love it like that, you're hooked. Took the kids to see Ocean Wisdom last year, the year before. That was brilliant. Just like the energy was just insane. Gigs we've done some beauties. Ibiza Classics at Rusty Glaze was brilliant. 3,000 people. We was just like, whoa.
Is it happening this year? Are you allowed to say? Do we know if it's happening?
Well, it's happening if Boris lets it happen. And we're all kind of poised, raring to go. Everyone, you know, imagine all the JHAV and the people that do like Nub Sound and people like that. They're all, you know, probably chomping at the bit to get going. It's going ahead if Boris lets it go ahead. You know, 4th of July. So, it would have been one of our first ones back if it goes ahead. It's going to be incredible, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be quite special. Well, we've got Molly here. She's saying she loves Coldplay, so we've got someone part of our little Coldplay fan club. We're safe now. So, if you could have a pint or an alcoholic drink of your choice, anyone from past, present, or future, celebrity, it could be a neighbour, it could be absolutely anybody. Who might that be? Let's have a good old chat over a drink, or it could be a cup of tea. It doesn't have to be alcoholic.
This is a tough one, isn't it? I think I'm going to have to go back into time, or so it'll be someone like Neil Armstrong would be pretty cool. Me for like just to come on, what happened? You know, someone like Jesus Nazareth. That's who I'd like to have a pint with. Again, just to say, come on, you're the most legendary guy ever. I'm not religious, but you know, tell me the story. What really went on? You know.
What would you ask him?
Well, I don't know. You just like run me through the Bible, man. What were these stories? What really happened? Because things get changed, don't they? Who knows? what legendary guy to meet? You know, this carpenter guy. Or if it was a girl, someone like Audrey Hepburn, classic. You've seen Breakfast and Tiffany's? Tiffany's?
Beautiful film.
What a woman.
Pure magic, those films. So there's something, you know, contemporary films are. There's something about the old films, the atmosphere and the composition and the pure beauty as well. You know, there's nothing made up. It's raw and it's stunning.
Yeah.
It's just, I love all the old Hitchcock films. They're just Rear Window's one of my favourites. Just absolutely
incredible. Birds. Have you seen The Birds?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
We actually had a bird sadly hit the window while I was in a Zoom the other day, and it hit the window, and no word of a lie, I jumped out of my seat in the middle of a Teams meeting, And but I was too frightened to pick it up, so I had to cover it in a towel and wait till the other half came home, which is a real wimp of me. But it was so beautiful. It's a lovely female blackbird. So anyway, now moving on. So COVID, lockdown. Now we're all fed up of talking about it, but have you learned anything? Is there anything you're going to take forward, or any new ways of working? I know you did your awesome garden gigs on the Sundays, which were brilliant. We had so much fun joining you for those. And if I ever missed them, I was gutted.
We've done some gigs at the watering hole. They came to the rescue last year and put some music outside. They were brilliant fun, and so many people come up and said about those home kind of garden gigs. You know, they were like, "Oh, thank God for that! I think you've done something," and I couldn't believe it. It was
brilliant.
Yeah, it was really nice to hear. What have I taken forward? You know, one thing I've learned, I kind of thought like maybe we should start up a course or something like that. Maybe that's the way to go. But then I thought, right, I'm bored of that. Let's just wait and crack on, right? So I've learned that we've got to act now. We've got to do stuff now for now. Stop worrying about tomorrow. I mean, you've got, all in moderation, of course. But
of course,
planning for the future, it can be taken away from you in an instant.
Absolutely.
So I'm really start living my life, really, because I'm a very cautious person. Surprisingly, when you see me and I'm absolutely three sheets to the wind, or you say he's not cautious, but I am really cautious. So I've got to start living my life and actually, having the things you want, going the places you want to go, and making those connections with people and telling people, you love them, telling your friends and your family, and making time for people, make it happen,
Yeah,
because it's there for long.
No, absolutely. I think we've all learnt that, and just kind of think, dream big as well. It's nothing's impossible, as the last 12 months plus have proved to us that, it really, anything can happen. So actually, your dreams could really happen, and just go for it. And I think I love the fact that I just kind of feel, in some ways, it feels like a level playing field. Doesn't feel like there's any hierarchy. There's mutual respect between people. We're all together as a community. And actually, do you know what? If that person you've always ever wanted to collaborate with, just pick up the phone and speak to them, because actually, everyone wants just to work together and keep our lives vibrant in some way. So it's kind of exciting. Really exciting.
Everyone back on a level play.
No, definitely.
Absolutely go for it. And like you say, dream big. Because when you're young and you kind of look at politicians, and you look at, I don't want to get too political, folks, right? But when you look at politicians and you're growing up and you think they're the guys with all the answers, they know everything, and then you grow up and you realise they're just like you. They're just kind of making their way through, finding out as they go along. So don't ever think you're less than these people. No. You've got much power as anyone. Just go and do it, make it happen, and just as long as you're nice to people, that's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's such a lovely thought. Right, we're going to shake things up. I believe you might have a question for me, which, if anyone hasn't watched before, this is always a spontaneous question that I haven't been allowed to prepare for, as opposed to Martin, who was sent questions over an hour before. So what are you going to throw my way? I normally get totally stuck on these questions, so I warn you.
Well, I just want to know, I mean, I've probably asked you this before, but I want to know your art background.
My art background?
Yeah, I don't want to know it all. I want to know all details.
Right. Well, bizarrely, there's no artistic background in my family at all. My father's a scientist and my mum's worked in retail. My mum's fairly creative, but there's no artist in the family at all. And I've just always loved art, but it's always spread beyond that. So I was always passionate about, as a kid, it was a bit bizarre, but I used to travel a lot through Europe with my dad when I was kind of between like 9 and 12 years old. And I used to love architecture and just soaking up culture. And I remember one really special moment that you'll appreciate. We went to Salzburg and we saw this beautiful orchestra playing outside. And I remember being propped up high on a pillar or something, so that I could see. And I remember watching this orchestra, and there was I looked over at the flautist, and I just turned around and I said to my dad, I said, I really want to learn to play the flute. So I actually learned to play the flute for quite a few years, which I absolutely loved. But I've just always, art has always been my thing, and it just keeps me going. And I kept being pushed in, you know, think about a sensible career. And I was going to study architecture, and I actually got a place at Manchester, my first choice. And as soon as I got my A-level results through, I thought, I don't want to do this. So I changed my mind and I did an art foundation. And there were a number of people who tried to step in my way, but every time someone kind of stopped in my way and said, you'll never get into this college or you'll never do this, I just thought, no, I'm going to do it. This is what I want to do. And I've just always stuck to it. So I did a fine art degree at Falmouth and then spent 5 years working on my practice as a painter, had a number of solo and group exhibitions in the Southwest, and then went back and had the hunger to study again and did an MA in curatorial practice, and hence what I'm doing now, managing artists, working on exhibitions, organising events, and doing absolutely what I love. And people always ask me, do I miss painting in the studio? And I do miss coming home covered in oils and having bitumen on my feet, and I mean, you name it, I was absolutely covered, full-blown self-indulgent studio painter. But I don't miss it because I feel that I can express myself through what I do creatively, putting events together, putting exhibitions together, and sharing my passion with everyone that I work with. So
brilliant. You really carved out a kind of niche for yourself. It's so interesting because
yeah,
the stuff that I've seen that you've been involved with or that you've done, it's been, it's different than everyone else is doing, and that's the trick, I think.
No, and I've always, I obviously I live in Cornwall. I do a lot of work down here. I do work elsewhere, but I've always said, I've always been determined to actually show that you don't need to move to London to make it happen, and actually make a name for myself down here. So, I've always said, give me an opportunity and I'll stay. And I've been so lucky, really lucky. And I work with so many amazing people. So, as you say, anything's possible. So, and I'm really lucky that I can do it full time now. So,
yeah,
no day's the same. Who knows? I may paint again one day, but I haven't got the headspace for it at the moment. And I'm still kind of keeping that creative urge going. So
yeah, well, it's always there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It never goes. Like you, 10 years without DJing, as soon as you started, you were there.
Oh yeah, blimey! I'm hooked, and I'm still hooked now. My drive and passion is like even what is crazy. I feel like a kid in a candy shop. I just can't get enough. It's mad. But yeah,
that's so lovely. It's so lovely to see people, and for people to be able to be honest about what they really love, which is brilliant. So just finally, and one of the reasons that we decided to have our chat this week is we are collaborating on an event which is called Bank Holiday Vibes, which will go live on Sunday the 30th of May, a bit of a special kind of COVID treat for everybody. Lots of good fun, and we will be sharing a trailer this week. I can't hear enough noise from people saying that they want this trailer. I mean, people are just going to give me a bit more of a whoop whoop, because otherwise this isn't going to happen. But no, I know everyone's really keen. It's really exciting. We had so much fun filming down on a beach that shall not be named. It will remain anonymous, but it was just so stunning. It was great fun. And I had such, I was in stitches at times going, come on, Martin, smile and some waves, which is brilliant. But if only I'd known you were a closet home dancer, we would have been fine. But no, it's brilliant. And we're super excited to share it. It's free for anyone. Oh, we've got a whoop whoop. Brilliant.
Whoa.
Thank you. And we will share after this details for anyone that wants to sign up. And we're really lucky to have the support from Hofmeister as well, which is amazing. So we will share all that information. Anyone that wants to sign up, check out the information. This is going to be available for people to watch later. And thank you everybody who has listened and watched and joined in. Maybe we'll have another catch up after the summer, Martin, and find out what your winter plans are.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Have a brilliant evening.
And you.
Take care. Bye.